I'm not sure if your instructors already notify you about this, that NCLEX is, trust me, they don't think the way you think. That's why I said NCLEX ancestors, they didn't go to school. Trust me, they did not go to school. Everybody, look who is back again. Nobody but me, okay? I am back again. Please, let's get right into this. I'm actually talking about this because I have mentees and I kind of like give them like a brief thing on some themes. So I decided, why not bring it to YouTube? If you haven't subscribed, but what are you looking at? What are you waiting for? You want me to be begging you? Everybody on YouTube beg you all the time. You do it without being begged now. Subscribe. I need subscribers though. This is not fair. I need enough subscribers. Okay, let's get right into it. All right. So this is mostly for students that are planning to write NCLEX. This is for, I know, trust me, honey, I know you've watched a lot of video. I know that, you know, you're watching all these videos to be able to just write that exam one time and just pass it. You don't want to be one of the people that, you know, at the end of the day, they're doing everything and they still didn't pass the exam, and you're striving hard, you're doing a lot of things, you know, you are finding the right video just to be able to, you know, pass this exam and just eventually relax, because I know that even when you graduate, you still have to get certified, you still have to go through this exam. Trust me, like after all what I went through in school, I shouldn't be waiting to pass an exam, you know, to start my career. Okay, I want to start making this money. Like, I totally understand you, honey. I really do. And I will say this before I start. You have done a great job, and I applaud you for getting here at this time. I don't care if you started and you graduated after 4 years. I don't care if you started and you graduated after 2 years. I don't care if you graduated after 3 years. As far as you're able to graduate, you got to graduation, or you know you're close to graduation, honey, I say a big, big, big congratulations, just because I know how hard you have worked. I know how, you know, all the hard work, all the sleepless night, all the studying for all those exams, all those everyday quizzes that seems to never end. Like, I totally understand, and I know that you have worked hard to get here. I know that you have done a phenomenal job, and you should be proud of yourself, darling. You should. Anyone that says otherwise, please delete them. You know, that's the only thing you can do. What else can you do? Delete them if they are thinking otherwise. Okay, delete them. But trust me, I will say again, it's a big, big congratulations, and you're about to jump into one of the best profession you can be in. Let me tell you, girl, guy, you have done the hard work. And I know you're tired, and I understand that you're tired. I know that you've gotten to that point that you're like, you know what? I think I need to relax, but this is not the time, honey. This is not the time. This is not the time to relax. The time to relax is coming, and you're almost there. You're this close to getting there. This close. I just want you to give it your last chance. I want you to give it your all. I want you to give this exam your all. I have few advices for you, though. One of my advice that I have for you is that forget about what you learned in school. I know a lot of people will be like, "Oh, let me go back to my books. Let me go back and study the things that I've done in school." No, honey, don't do it. Don't bother. Don't do it. Because even if you want to go back, you're going to start from J1. Like, you're going to start from med surge. You're going to start from J1. You're going to start from all these J1 classes. Like, we're going to start from pathopharmacology, pathophysiology. Like, is that where you're going to start from? You're going to, like, no. Even thinking about that is making me cringe. Trust me, I have goosebumps on it. I do. Because I know how hard those classes are. I know how hard they are. So, this is what I would say. Close your books. Don't study your books. I'm not saying that, there are no information, like one or two informations where you cannot get from your books, especially OB stuff, because I feel like majority of the people that even help with OB things, they don't have that, that information. So they're just like, and even NCLEX, I feel like they just ask you lie and like just know how to, position a pregnant woman, when she's in labor, know what to give them, know when to give Pitocin and all of that. That's what they want to know. So try as much as you can. OB stuff, I would say yes. Try to like just revise on them. But every other thing, I think the best way for you to go about it is to do practice questions. Practice. I cannot stress that enough. Practice questions, because NCLEX, the ancestors of NCLEX, I'm telling you, they are not in schools. They didn't go to school. Trust me, they did not go to school. They didn't. I remember my experience, because when I was studying for that exam, it was hard because I had other life things, that I was dealing with. And at the same time, I have to be a full-time worker because your girl got a contract. And I signed contract and I collected their money. So I'm very limited to when I can pass this exam. One thing is that I don't know about other schools, but my school gave me this past question thing, Kaplan. If your school give you Kaplan, I think it's gonna be a great resources for you. My school gave it to me. Like I said, I didn't think of anything of it just because I was like, it's Kaplan. I don't want to use it because everybody was talking about UWorld. So I paid for UWorld. And trust me, I have been studying. Remember I told you I signed the contract? So I have been studying before I graduated. So while I was in school, my last semester, after I was done with all of my clinical orientations and everything, I started to study. Like, I started studying rigorously just because I really wanted to pass it. And I gave myself enough time to study. Like, you will see after you graduated, some of your friends will be like, oh, I'm taking it in 2 weeks. Oh, I'm taking it in 3 weeks. I think the second advice that I would give you is that you have to know your capacity. You have to know you. Don't let peer pressure. Trust me, peer pressure is something that always affects me. So because of that, I don't say things that I want to do. I be about it. Like, I just do what I want to do. I don't care if other people are doing it. I don't care how other people are doing it. I do not care what other people are doing and at what time they want to write their exam. I'm just like, I don't want to have that conversation with you. But at least there's still some of my friends that I have the conversation with, like, oh, I'm not gonna take it right now. I think I'm gonna give myself some time. So I think I graduated in May, and I didn't write the exam until I think first week in July. You, lo and behold, your girl passed. A lot of people, okay, will come to you and tell you a lot of things. A lot of people will be like, use Sanders, use UWorld, use Kaplan, like I just said, use this, use that, use girl, guy, please use what you think helps you to learn. Okay, I think I cannot project what helped me into you, because one thing that helped me the most that I know is Kaplan. Because I remember when we were in school, we used to use Kaplan a lot, and when we do like the Kaplan exams, my school uses that. Like, we have, I think it's 5% of our total grade after, by the end of the semester, and it always get us mad because majority of us don't pass it. But because I said I have been practicing, I've been practicing with UWorld, because I bought UWorld, I think for like 4 months, I think 4 months or 6 months. I bought the UWorld because I was like, in case I don't pass it, I know I still have other, I still have it to keep, practicing. And I think using that, I was using the UWorld, and then in school I was using Kaplan. So I was using both of them. But one thing that I noticed about UWorld is that sometimes it's too critical. When I say critical, I mean it's too like, I can't relate, because I'm like, what is this? And they will give you some information here, just like, okay, how does that relate to what I learned? Okay. But one thing about Kaplan is, I'm telling you, when you go on there, the things that you will see, the way they will word the question, I think is the way NCLEX is, in my opinion. I think the way Kaplan is the way NCLEX is. I know a lot of us, I'm very sure that 80 or 90% of your classmates already bought UWorld or planning to buy UWorld. My advice for you is, after you've exhausted your questions on Kaplan, if you have it for free, great. I think it's a great resources. Once you're done with all those questions, now test your knowledge like you are writing the NCLEX. Put yourself in a position that you are writing the NCLEX, and take one of UWorld questions and see what you got. Because I think UWorld has it as you are low, you're medium, and then you are high. You have a high chance of passing. I remember my first time, I was using UWorld all through, and my first practice questions that I took on UWorld, not practice, it's like practice exam. That's what it is. My first practice exam on UWorld, I think I was medium. I was like borderline. Kaplan also has 2 sets of practice exams. No, I think they have a lot of different practice exams. It just depends on how many questions you've done, that determines the kind of practice that the kind of practice exams that you get. So I try to lean more towards Kaplan, just because on UWorld I'm like, I can't relate. There are some things that they are asking me here that I don't know. So I never know where the questions are gonna come from. And then, I tried that. I did literally majority of my questions on UWorld, because like I said, I started it earlier. But I noticed how my grade increased as I start to use Kaplan. Trust me, they didn't pay me for this. Video is never sponsored by Kaplan, but it is what worked for me. And I think a lot, because before you even graduated, a lot of people are like, buy UWorld, buy UWorld, buy UWorld. If you have Kaplan for free from your school, I think it is a great resources, in my opinion. It's assessors, they didn't go to school. Trust me, they did not go to school at all. In my opinion, I feel like they are just, those people like during the life of Knitting Girl, where, they just they just made all these questions up, and they're just like, and then now we have new curriculums, and you graduate and you're like, how come I can't pass NCLEX? I went through school, I did this and did that. I think, in my opinion, like I said, practice, practice, practice. Do as much practice questions as you can. You get yourself familiar with that, with questions. Get yourself familiar with questions. And I think the third advice that I have is that you have to put yourself in testing mode. I don't know how, but I find myself to anytime, because I've put myself in testing mode several times, like my phones are away. I make sure that nothing is distracting me. Sometimes I even have the headgear in my house, so I put it on just so, and I get this whiteboard because they said you're gonna get one, but it wasn't white, it was just just this laminated paper. That was what I got at my center. I don't know about other people's center, but some people are saying that get the whiteboard. So I got the whiteboard. I put myself in test taking mode all the time. I don't care if I'm just doing practice questions or if I'm doing the practice exam. I put myself in test taking mode. I think when you do that, by the time you get into the exam, you're already familiar with test taking mode, that you're not gonna panic. You're not gonna be scared that, oh, this is what it is. Even though at the back of your mind, you know that, oh, this is the due day and this is what it is. So I really don't know how I'm gonna do. But trust me, you have worked hard to get here. I am 100% sure that you will be fine. Advice number 4. The day you are going to write your exam, pray. Pray is very important. Pray in whatever you believe in. Pray. I remember when I got to my center, I got there very early. I was like, I'm gonna be there. I was watching, I was watching YouTube videos. I was trying to see how people cope, with when they were going in, how they felt and how they were able to deal with the anxiety and everything. And I was, meditating, and in my car, I was like, oh my God, okay, this is the time, Sarah, you've got this, you've worked hard, you know how hard this is, but you're here today and, you've passed. Just always have it at the back of your mind. You've passed and everything. Tell me how I got in, and the printer thing, because you have to do your fingerprinting and everything. Tell me how the printer thing would not scan my finger. I was like, don't start. Not now. Don't start. This thing will not scan my finger. And the guy was asking me, it was like, are you sure you haven't taken this exam before? I was like, hell to the no. God forbid. I haven't taken this before. This is my first time. I was like, okay, let's see what's going on. I had to rub my hand with different alcohol. It was like, okay, let me clean it. Let me do this. I was like, don't do this. Don't do this. I worked hard to be here. Trust me, pray before you go. It is very important. But eventually, I was able to scan. It was just because it was a lot of people's fingers and it got blurry and all of that. But I was able to go in and everything went well. The fifth advice is that while you're taking the exam, if you find questions that you don't know, don't panic, because you're not meant to know everything. You're only meant to know what the average people know. You're not there to get 100% on NCLEX. All what I need to be sure of is that at least I'm able to go above the borderline so that I can pass. So if you see questions that you don't know, do not panic. And the harder question you get, the better. I remember having, I think, 45 select all that applies. My people, I was because the paper that it gave me is, I said it's laminated, but it has these little boxes. So every select all that applied that I get, I put like a 1 in 1 box. Like the first 3 rows, I left it. I was like, that's gonna be my select all that apply rows. So any select all that applied that I get, I put like a box in there. I put like a 1 in there just so I can count, or like just put it in. And I realized that I got 45 select all that applies. And should I tell you something? Majority of my questions are pharmacology. Yeah. Majority of my questions, they are pharmacology. I remember this specific question that they were asking me about. I'm not sure if, I think you should know this, just because you're graduating. Is it that you're just taking the class or you previously took the class? And where they're talking about, I think it's MedSearch 2, where I can't remember the topic, but I know they're mostly talking about the vertebrae, the brain and the vertebrae, where they're like, oh well, remember your C helps you with breathing and everything, so you have to care for that. And then I think the L's helps you with the feet, so you have to know that once that something is wrong with the L, which is the lumbar, it affects your lower extremities and your bladder. So you have to make sure that you watch the patient. And I remember seeing that question, and it was so funny because my teacher, the professor that taught us this class, like, I was struggling through the class. So I remember the way she kind of like explained it to me. So while I was in there, I was like, oh, I know this. Oh, I know this. Oh, and let me tell you, I took all the questions, the whole 145 questions. I know that, NCLEX they're changing NCLEX to this new generation NCLEX. I think no matter what it is, just don't panic. Don't panic. I know that getting in there, it might be very, like, you might be scared, and then you see people. I saw a lot of people got up after like 15-20 minutes. When we got there, I was like, wait, did they leave or they went on break? Yeah, some people will have so much anxiety that they will leave, because you can go on break. You can take a little, I think, few minutes of break, but when you come back, they have to go back and search you, and you have to, I'm not sure if you have to redo the fingerprint, because your girl didn't go on break. I'm like, get behind me, Satan. If I go on break now, then the thing is not going to scan my finger again. So as I was saying, I think the best advice is don't panic. Know what works best for you. You don't have to tell people when you're taking your exam. It's not important. Even though I know a lot of people, they are so interested in it. They're like, when are you writing the exam? When are you? If you don't have to tell them, don't tell them. Okay? If you feel like telling them will put you in trouble, don't say it. If you feel like, well, I don't want to say it now, or you can even lie. Trust me, you can be like, okay, I'm taking it in November, but you are taking it in March, or you're taking it in April. Anytime you're trying to take it, but no matter what you do, just make sure you do not panic. Don't panic. You have done everything you can at this point. The little study, when you get in front of your center, is not going to change anything, okay? And let me tell you this. I think this is also one of the things that helped me get myself a little bit calmer, is that it has been determined. Either I will pass or I will fail. It has been determined. So me going in there is just to do my best. It's just to put in my best. So you are just going in there to put in your best. And trust me, your best is enough. You have done everything you can to get to this point. So just go in there. Go in there and just pass your exam. Another thing that I will mention is that when you come out of that exam, you will feel like you have failed. Somebody say amen. That is me. I came out and I cried because I was like, I have failed this exam. I'm gonna take the first 2 days out and I will go back to studying, but at least the next 2 days I'm not gonna study. I'm just gonna watch TV, eat good food, I will do everything, and I will go back to studying. Yeah, that was how I felt. But getting home, everybody would be like, oh, wait 24 hours and then check. There's this way to check. And I checked and it says pass. I could not believe my eyes. I was like, what? I passed? Like, that's how, because I felt like all the select, all the apply, and all the questions, I was like, this is a lot of medications. NCLEX they showed me pepper. That's why I felt like I failed, because I got out and I was like, first of all, I don't know all those questions. I didn't talk to anybody. I was like, no, I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to deal with anybody. But, I came out. I am grateful. I passed, and the profession is rewarding. I will say just that, unfortunately, there are some 1 or 2 things that you go through, after. But we'll talk about that after you are done with the exam, okay? But trust me, like I said, you have done your best. Always remember that you have done your best. For you to even get here, I say well done, and well done again. You have given all your best. And this moment, I want you to always remember that you have done your best. Just go in there with a leap of faith. Go in there and go write that exam. I wish you the best, and the best of luck. I know that, you've got this. Trust me, you've got this. And let me say this. In case you write that exam and you didn't pass it, I want you to know that it is not the end of the world. I want you to know that that will not make you less. It will not reduce the care, the passion that you have for patient care. It will not reduce it. I know great nurses that it took them 3 times or 4 times to pass this exam. And now that they're in the profession, they are one of the best people you can ever have. So this will not define you. This exam result, regardless of the result, it will not define you, because it is not you. Okay? It is just an exam. It is just one stupid exam all of us have to pass. I can't believe it after all the hard work. If the result comes back negative, you just need to go back, re-strategize, okay? And do it again. Give yourself enough time. Remember, give yourself enough time. I know you can do this. Just go in there, give it your best. Take a deep breath, because you've worked hard to get to this point. So that exam is not going to stop you. Just go in there and give it your best and see how well you have become. Trust me, you will be fine. You will absolutely be fine. Anyways, that is all I have to say. As usual, that is all I have to say. And I hope this video helps you.